Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. I'm doing our at least once a month live stream. Missed last month, but we're just going to wait for some people to filter in. Just be taking Q&A as usual. So I'm excited to be able to do this since I missed last month. So feel free to ask me anything, and I'm right here until 8 o'clock or a little bit after, depending on questions. What's frustrating for me is I have some things that I picked up that I can't even talk about yet until our Comic Haul video on Saturday. So I'm excited about them, but I can't talk about them, unfortunately. So I'm pulling up the chat on my phone here. So who do we have? We've got Keem. Welcome, Keem. Always glad when you're here. So I see 4 in here. Who else is in here? I know I'm one of the others, so that means there's at least 2 more of you in here. Feel free to ask me anything and everything that you would like to. I did a little bit of a room setup here as well. It's another thing. It's hard when you have a channel how much you want to show right off the bat, because then it's like future video ideas or whatnot. But I did quite a few cool things in this space. I'm sure I've told you before. Basically, it's a 50-50 split between me and my wife for the office area here. So my side, I just put a bunch of posters and stuff here, and then I just reconfigured my pop display on one of my mini locations. But I just got a full run of a more current set. But I wanted to do a video on those too, so I'm hesitant to show off those, but I don't know. So we have Hillbilly Panda, welcome. I see Kimmy's ASMR, welcome to you, as well as Eric Lau ASMR. Thank you all for showing up. Yeah, so we just do a standard Q&A here, so anything you want to ask, feel free to. This is just, a video or a time to interact where I'm not, trying to put you to sleep. So this is just like me without any relaxation stuff going on. So, if you were to bump into me in the street or, worked with me or whatever the case may be, this is the interaction you would get. I wouldn't have like my relaxing voice and stuff. Although my regular voice is pretty calming from what I hear, but it's amped a little bit since I'm live. It's not something I'm naturally used to. So still being in front of the camera is a bit of an unnatural experience, but it's one of those things. Kimmy asks, how are you? I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Kimmy? More people filtering in here. Yeah, it's always weird whenever it starts initially because everyone's just kind of filtering in. But I just want to be here for you guys and just let you know that I do appreciate when you show up to the live streams and things like that. And the ASMR part is definitely one part of me, but it's not all of me, as you all know. So I just like to be able to be in here and show you the other side. So I don't know, for future live streams, I might do, I don't know. Because it's hard for me to commit to doing like live streams as well, because whenever I am looking at the chat, it's hard for me, like if I were to try to do a drawing thing or gaming and stuff, you got to look between the chat and the drawing or whatever it may be. But that might be something I could kick around possibly for future ones. Yeah, because the last one I did was a couple months ago. I mean, I always get a few new subscribers and stuff who might not know stuff that you all know. So after a while, it's just kind of like, well, how much Q&A can you do before your regular viewers already know the answers to their questions? So I might start maybe doing some drawing or at least some gaming. I know that a new Avengers game comes out tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm going to pick it up. I know that there's elements of it that I'm not crazy about. Apparently there's like a lot of DLC related stuff. Basically, like you have a lot of characters in your roster, but to get certain upgrades and thing. It's basically like you have like $10 season passes for each Avengers member. So I'd probably have to pick and choose between my favorites. I know there was an early plot point that's kind of set up, I think, in one of the earliest trailers involving my favorite superhero in the Marvel Universe, which is Captain America, and stuff happens to him pretty early on that kind of is a bummer, but I'm sure it's not the end all be all of what happens. But yeah, so it's one of those things that I know out of the gate, like my favorite character, you don't see a lot of FaceTime, at least initially. So Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, I hear that's a really good game. I've seen like a lot of, video of just gameplay and stuff, and it definitely looks like a very detailed game. And I do like open world games. I've really committed to the Assassin's Creed series. I still have maybe 3 or 4 of those to beat because there was just a period where I couldn't pick anything up really besides comics and stuff. But they had a sale maybe a couple months ago on PlayStation Network, and I got most of the games for close to 100, if not less than that. And then I just picked up Assassin's Creed Rogue, which was like a PS3 game where you're on the other side. You're not a Templar. Did my video cut out? No, I think that is... Let's see. Weird. Okay, well, my video cut out because someone's trying to call me. Yeah, so I've been working on those games in particular. But yeah, there's a lot of other cool games for sure. But, Avengers is just kind of a given. I've got to get that one. So let me look at the chat a bit more here. We got Ryan says it's such a good game. I believe that's in reference to Red Dead 2. The new characters are free and the challenge passes are for cosmetics and not needed. Okay, so that is the Avengers game. Oh, nice. So Ryan is playing as Captain America. Very cool. I think the major thing that just kind of jars everyone too is just used to seeing how they looked in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everyone kind of glommed onto that quite a bit. So I'm sure there's like licensing issues for having the characters in the game look like Robert Downey Jr., et cetera, et cetera. So ideally, we would like them to look like that in this game, but unfortunately, I'm sure there's some sort of legalese there that we just get to see a slightly bit off version of everyone's faces that, we're used to just inserting those Hollywood actors in there. So I think that takes a little bit of getting used to. I've seen enough details of it that it does look like a visually very good game. They've been working on it for a long, long time. I think they've been talking about it for at least 2 years, if not longer. So I expect good things out of it. I just, it's not going to be a standard superhero game, I guess. Like, I think like the Arkham games really set the bar for what a superhero game could be. And I mean, it's good that it's different. So you can't just say, oh, it's, an Assassin or an Arkham City ripoff. So there's that part of it. But, there's just mechanics and things like that that are just something you have to get used to. So. Yeah, I got you, Ryan. Game gives you a bunch of skins. You can look all kind of different. My Hulk looks like Joe Fixit. Oh, cool. Yeah, I know they have a lot of nice little nods to characters from the comics, as well as I think I even saw there is a Cap skin where he looks like he did in the first Avengers movie. And since he has like a mask covering the full part of it, he looks a lot more like how Captain America looks in that movie. I think it's, as soon as you take the whole mask off, then it's like, that's not Steve. So, but I think, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like the little nods. And then they have just kind of some weird ones. I know they've got like, I don't know, there's a version of Hulk where he's got like a skull paint sort of, it's like a white skull paint on his face. It's like almost like a voodoo paint job sort of a thing. So I don't recall him ever looking like that in the comics. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's an instance where, there's just some other, just different type of cosmetics as well. I am ticked too because I guess like the what the press embargo was lifted on Monday. So there's been channels that have like just showing up in my feed based upon my interests. I'll see like, you know, a thumbnail of an image that will spoil a villain or a certain part of the game. So like, it's like you got to stay off YouTube altogether if you want to be 100% surprised by anything to do with games or movies. Comics is less so, but I've even had comics spoiled for me too, oddly enough. And that's usually from Facebook feeds where it's like, I think CBR is the one they'll say, you know, they'll be like, Batman, basically it'll say like spoiler in the title, but then like it'll show a picture of what happens or vice versa. Like they'll have the title, but then the image will have a big question mark over it. So it's like, okay, how about you make everything match and keep in mind that on a Facebook feed, certain things are going to get shown off. So I do have to look. I saw, got to read a message here from my wife. There. I got to respond to this text. Sorry, guys. There we go. Let me pop back out the chat here. The Sea Cat Blonde again. Yeah, there's Tribal Tats. So if you pre-ordered, you could play it on Monday. That's how I'm playing. Oh, cool. So yeah, I didn't know that you could actually already be playing, and I thought that was just the beta, as in like the other stuff people were doing for free. So, well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying the game. I'm curious to see how long it is. I like to kind of sit on a game and just kind of play the mess out of it and like get as much as I can out of it in the least amount of sittings possible. So like with what's like the Assassin's Creed games, I'll get on immediately, just start running to all of the vantage points and unlocking the map where I can see where all the important items are and stuff like that, and slowly try to, or quickly try to get as much of the important stuff as I can. Like, you know, like maybe not getting every treasure chest, but, you know, picking up like different artifacts or certain things like that. So that's typically how I play open world games, is I try to get the full map revealed, and then I will just kind of go for as much as the sought after collectibles. And then usually by the time I've done that, I'm usually leveled from collecting pretty well and, you know, upgrading through fundage for weapons and things like that. So the story usually goes pretty fast for those games once I have all of my money and, you know, upgrades equipped. Then usually the story mode's a breeze. So, but I think this gameplay is very different than that, but it'll be fun to play it regardless. So it's short, but it's a live serves loot game, so there is a lot to do after, but the main story is pretty short, but it's not meant to be long. It's a very good story, though, short and sweet. Well, nice. Well, then I'll probably end up getting it and then, you know, quickly be through with it, I guess. So you all might see some of that. It's hard for me to kind of, like, I don't want to just be another Avengers game in your feed type of thing, but I know it's something some people are interested in. So I guess that's kind of where I struggle in general on YouTube, is kind of finding what is appropriate to throw in that feed. I try to be very considerate of you guys as viewers, to where you're not going to be spoiled by a game or a movie or a book or whatever. So it's hard for me to just plunge right in. I'm trying to be considerate of the people who've made the game, or even just you experiencing the game, you know, unhindered by outside stuff. Same with, you know, comics, with the artists and writers and shops in general. Like, I'm all about supporting local shops and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of that goes into it. So, but I don't know. I'm coming up on 3 years here. I seem to be tracking close to 500 subscribers a year. I feel like I could definitely up that more, but I can't do it without your guys' help, as you know. So, but once we do get up to 2,000 subscribers, I will do a signed book giveaway. I don't know which one yet, but I mean, it'll be a good autograph. And then once we get to 5,000, we'll do like a bundled signed book giveaway, like a few different signed comics. So I like doing that just kind of to show appreciation for you guys as viewers. I know it seems like, yeah, it's almost been 3 years here. So we just hit 1,000 last September. So we're getting there slow and steady, but I definitely want to continue to grow it, of course. So my signed book. Well, I mean, I'll throw in my signed book at some point. I feel like I got to work on the Bull number 2 though too. So, but you know, I think a lot of people they're probably not into my specific comic that I've made. It's been like 2 years now, which is crazy. Even with that, I just get hung up on like the quality level and things like that. And if what I make is good enough to put out there, like I got the first one out of my system for the Bull number 1. So I'm glad I did that, but I'm always just critical of myself. And like, I definitely want it to feel like something that you're glad you got, not, oh, I wasted $10, which is shipping usually on that. So yeah, the books I usually just do a regular standard floppy, which is 20 pages, and that's a $5 book. It costs me $2.50 to make it. And then to ship it is usually around another $5 or close to it for me. So I usually make like $2.50 per book or something like that. So, but I print the runs small, so I don't have like a huge storehouse. So I actually have no more copies of the book except for like my copy, my kid's copy, and then one in pristine copy. So it wouldn't even be a first print of that one. I would have to. I am going to do a second run of those when I put out the second book. But I'll only be signing book number 2. So that means those of you who got number 1 signed, like that's a collectible. And then the cover is going to look a bit different to distinguish your first print as well. So, but I will sign the reprint of number 1 for a viewer. I'm sure I'll be able to do that. So let's see here. Anything else? No, nothing yet. Yeah, feel free to let me know. We've got, looks like, I guess 4 people in here, counting myself as the 5th one. So how about you? I haven't heard much from any of the ASMR guys there. Let me know anything you've got, or are you just hooked in for the ASMR side, not so much for the comic side, which is fine, but it's a marrying of 2 interests. So I didn't see a fully 100% dedicated comic book ASMR channel that was putting out content weekly. So that's why I started my thing in the first place. So, but there are a few comic book ASMR channels out there that do quite a few videos, but either they haven't put anything out for a while, or they're a mixed bag of things. There's a Chicho ASMR. He usually does his hauls mostly are I want to say about once a month or so. Maybe he'll get huge lots off of eBay of like collections of books, and he's really good. He'll show off like a camera angle of like opening the book up and stuff, as well as having like a smaller camera with his face. And so he'll talk through like the printing origins and stuff like that. He's pretty good and very researched when he does his stuff. Another good one he hasn't posted in forever though, which is ASMR for Nerds. He's a great one. It's been a while since we've seen a video from him though, but he's a great one for sure. Another more recent one is ASMR Retro, I believe. It's either that or Retro ASMR, I forget. I could Google it real quick, but he will always sporadically he's got a lot of showing off his collection and stuff, but then he does like gameplay videos of just different genres, and he'll show off like his VHS collection or just whatever. So he's really good mixed bag, but he has a lot of comic videos he's done too. So I definitely recommend him. And if there's any of you guys know, let me know. I'd love to support everyone. Yeah, so it's ASMR Retro is his channel. So he posted the other day a comic book video, I believe. So yeah, it's been, I could have sworn I've seen a recent one. Maybe it just popped up in my feed. I guess it's been a couple weeks. So yeah, he did a Spider-Man one here recently. don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. And this is his channel right here. So we're going old school with the tech graphics there. So big shout out to him. Big fan of his. So yeah, I'm hesitant to do like collabs and stuff. I'd like to do something with him for sure, but it's like I don't want to be like come off as like the needy person and be like, oh, help grow my channel, whatever. I genuinely like interacting with other people, but I don't want to bother other people. So that's kind of why I don't do like where I'm openly asking for collabs. But yeah, I'll gladly do a collab with anyone who wants me to, for sure. Yeah, so these guys too. Yeah, you both know Retro as well. So, but yeah, as far as like other things, I mean, like I try to spread stuff around. I'm very supportive of just at least offering support through subscription through ASMR channels. I always try to find the smaller ones because, you know, we all start out and it's always difficult. So I always try to subscribe anytime I see a smaller ASMR channel to help boost their numbers. Unfortunately, I might not always get to watch everything because there's just so many channels out there, but I will at least support any of you guys through numbers, through adding to your subscription count for sure. Yeah, I really want to talk about my cool things I got, but I can't. Let's see here. I might be able to cheat here and show you a little bit of the studio, I guess. I don't know what you can see though. So I just hung my my posters up there. You can kind of see them. I'm using my I'll do a proper video at some point, I'm sure. But I didn't want to I'm on like the Tiny Computers HD cam and not my phone, so I can't easily just show you like that. But yeah, so I've got all these posters hung I really enjoy. I've got things kind of reorganized. It's still like half under construction, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's really taking shape now. Feeling like we're a lot closer to comfortably creating. Been doing a lot of stuff regarding work and things like that, unfortunately. So like I'm not able to put out as many videos as I would have hoped yet. But as you know, you guys always get that standard, you know, Saturday video for sure. That's just hard for me to gauge the other ones, unfortunately. And even too with the readings, it's hard for me to know what you want to see me read. So, I mean, I'm always welcome. You know, I say comment down below what you want to see, and I truly mean that. So anything you want to see me do on the show, just let me know. Making sure my comments are still loading okay. Do remakes of your older videos. I would agree with that. I did some really cool ones where, you know, I was on the older audio. I had like a I don't know, it was like it's a shotgun mic, but it was like one that was super portable. You stuck it right in here and it had a fuzzy thing on it. So the audio was good in this fact that it was like focused, but it wasn't like crisp like the Yeti provides. So I did quite a few ones that were pretty cool. I did like whenever I hit 100 subscribers, I did where I showed off all my signed comics up to that point. And that might be a good one to redo because I only had 100 people when I posted that video. And even now, I think maybe it's not broken even 300 views on it. So that might be a good video to redo. But at the time, even that one, it was an hour special. So I don't know how much I'd be able to squeeze in or share like story wise on top of it. Because with that one, I talked about like where I got each signature and a little bit of interaction with the people when I met them and stuff. So yeah, so you're thinking about that one. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed that one, Ryan, for sure. I struggle too. Like I'm sure you guys noticed if you're from the early days. I did like readings where I actually had the images on the screen, but they were on a timer, not me swiping through them. So I would like read a panel and then there would be like the awkward like 15-second silence, and then it would switch to the next one, and then I would whisper or soft speak that one. It was still with this little headphone jack mic too. So I would do that, and it was just not up to standard, I guess. So like all of my original, like whenever they did the relaunch of Batman, I was reading all of those. I did, I think the first 7 or so, and then I did like the Superman Action Comics ones, and then I did Detective Comics. I had Bone on there, the IDW Ninja Turtles, Nightwing, and I think those were like the main ones. And I was posting like every couple days because I was really just trying to emulate what I was seeing, how people would post back then. So, and even doing that, I wasn't really hitting any of those numbers. So I was like, so, and I was doing a lot with like, splicing the images to fit on the screen and stuff. So it was like a ton of work. And then it'd be like 12 people watched this video. And I'd look at like watch time. It would not even be like 12 minutes or whatever. So like, I guess no one liked that video. So just little things like that. Yeah. Updated figure toy collection. I'd say that one too. But a lot of the stuff I've already really shown off on my hauls. But I guess that's the part where I stumble, is like, well, if you've watched my hauls, you've probably seen most of what I've acquired. So, but it doesn't hurt to kind of have like a laser focused video on, toys or whatever. I do want to do, I've kicked this around for a while, a Funko Shop HQ role play where I'm the cashier. Obviously, role plays aren't something I've really done, but that's one I would like to do because, like, I've already gotten like the image for the background from the HQ because I live fairly close to it, and I got like one of the Funko HQ jackets, and I have a ton of pops I haven't shown you guys. I know that like not everyone likes pops, and like I've only just started to get more of them recently because they've been releasing a lot of cool things. So it's not on purpose that I'm like trying to suddenly turn it into like a Funko channel. It's like, it just so happens that they're releasing some really cool items through Funko right now. So it's like, oh yes, here comes like another 3 pops in the middle of my comic haul because it's like, I want to complete this set. They're doing a lot of things that are like comic book created without me going all in. Like for me, I can't like just try to buy like the regular comics line or anything. So it's like, I'll buy movie lines based upon comic books or things like that. So, but even that I'm selective with it too. But there's a recent one where I completed the wave of that because it was still quite a few of them, but enough that it was like contained, not like, the Avengers franchise where there's probably over 100 pops or whatever. So yeah, but. And then I still have to complete like the Batman movie line. I've only got like a few of them, but they released all the villains. And basically I was waiting for my local shop to get them in, and they never did. So I'm like, I don't want to not support them through my shop. But what I'll probably end up doing is, even if they do eventually get them and hold them for me, just give those ones to my kids. So, but I don't want to miss out on them either. So. And then McFarlane Toys is putting out a lot of cool ones. I'll be getting quite a few of those. You guys saw my 2 Murphyverse ones. I got the Batman and the Joker that you swap the head out on. So, but yeah, so it's like a lot of it is just me trying to figure out and play with like the fundage that I have to do those things. But yeah, and then I'm getting close to getting some of my most sought after things, like, financially feasible things. Like I'll never have like Spider-Man's first appearance or anything like that. But, being able to get, Captain America's first, I guess, modern age appearance is what you'd call it, when he gets pulled out of the ice, Avengers #4, being able to get that book was something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And I found a copy that was relatively affordable. It was still way more than I would spend on anything typically, but it was lowered enough, and then the guy even shaved $100 off of it for me. So wasn't a high grade or anything, but enough to where I could say, okay, I can do this. And it was like my birthday present to myself. So let's see. That's a good point. Yeah. But it's, it's one of the things I would definitely like to get more collectibles too, but it's like I don't have a ton of fundage to play with. So, but even now it's like, oh, there's still quite a few trades and stuff I'd like to get as well. And I'm totally like, I bought shelves in here and they're already filled with books. So it's like, I have to get another third shelf. What I'd like to do is have one shelf where it's Marvel stuff, one shelf DC, and one shelf independent creators. So, and I mean, that even includes like Ninja Turtles and Hellboy and stuff like that. So, because right now everything's kind of just mixed together, and I just kind of like to have it a little more organized and have some breathing room. And I'm still in the process of completing the Cerebus trade set. I'm missing 3 of them, and one of them, unfortunately, right now is in the ballpark of $400 for it's like the trade too, but it's like for whatever reason it's suddenly crazy amounts of money just because it's out of print and stuff. But it's annoying too because that was a trade that I had purchased on Amazon. And the guy refunded me my money, which I think I paid $60 for it. He refunded me my money, and then he relisted it for, I think at the time it was maybe $200 or something, but at that time I couldn't even afford that. And then I turned around. It's saved to my Amazon list of items. So I turned around, a week or so later, and then I see it's like $438 or something. So yeah, I'm looking for Cerebus Volume 15 Latter Days. I do not want to pay $400 for it. So if any of you know anyone trying to part with one for under $100, let me know, because I'm trying to get it without spending $400. Especially since it's a trade too. Like, it's weird for me whenever a trade appreciates in value because like they're reprints of books. It's not even like the original comics, but stuff goes out of print and then it's just rare. But it's hard for me to mentally think about it on the same wavelength as like floppies, because in my eyes the floppies are always going to be more valuable than the trades. And what's annoying is like 4 or 5 months ago at Half Price Books, each one of those volumes they had like almost the whole set. I'm pretty sure they had the whole set, and each volume was maybe $10 or so. But I didn't have the money at the time, and now I'm slowly trying to acquire it. And then they're like, oh yeah, this one's $400 now. So I'm like, man. So let me catch up on my chat here. I'll be honest. Yeah, that's true. The multiverse one should be renamed to Batverse. Yeah, they're doing a ton of Batman figures for McFarlane for sure. But hopefully we will see more of a transition. I think what we're seeing is just Todd's playing it safe for right now. He's still doing like he started to do like some concept ones too, his gold edition, I guess. So that's something we're seeing as well. So we're seeing concepts of things that have never been. But he's always dabbled in like the dark stuff too. So he's latching on to Sure for like all like the DC Metalverse stuff, Batman Who Laughs, and all the other Batman alternate monsters and characters. So I know he's just relishing making those. So 3D print busts. I don't quite know how to do that. Let's see here. Oh, that's someone who's not on, I haven't acknowledged it. So Mr. Rick Jims 83, welcome. Ryan, almost every figure since they took over Lions Batman. Yep, that's true. Bring back Evil Ernie. I remember Evil Ernie from like way back in the 90s. I know it's still around, but I haven't seen much of it recently. Yeah, the Cyborg figure. You talking about the Teen Titan ones there, Ryan? Because that's the one I've seen. I don't know of like one of like Hank Henshaw Cyborg, like the Cyborg Superman. So I'm assuming that's what you mean. I would love to see detailed versions of like the Reign of Superman stuff, like Steel and Cyborg and Superboy and blanking on his name now, the Eradicator. And then, of course, the black suit Superman. But I know they're putting out a DC Direct one of the black suit Superman. But I think it's like the Lois and Clark one. He's got the beard and I think his hair is short too. But, we should just just have the head pop off and have an alternate with the mullet and all that. I know it's it's not what people like glom onto with that, but you know, it's a nice nod to how he did fully visually look at the time. So I would appreciate that if they did that. Oh, very cool. That's good to know. Yeah. I don't know much about it. It certainly is impressive to me. So I don't know if you could ever make like 3D toys or anything like that, like action figures or stuff, but that might be something that I'm certainly interested in at some point down the line. With the bull, I would certainly like to see merchandise and things like that, but I don't know the financial side of all of that. But for sure, that is something that's cool, is being able to have, you know, other physical versions of your character besides just having the comic. Like that was step one, which is great. And then I got like the t-shirts done up with the logo, and that's cool too, to finally have that as a shirt as well. So, but yeah, I'd like to for sure make toys of him as well. I remember back in the day, I made a custom bull where I painted over like the Eddie Brock Venom, where you could like take his Venom head off and it have as like a rubber head, and you pulled that off and it had Eddie Brock's small head on there. And so like I made a custom version of that where I painted it brown and stuff to look like the bull. And I think the horns were just done with like tape or something horrible, because I was maybe 12 or so when I had done it. So but yeah, I'd definitely like to make an actual 3D representation of my character for sure. Yeah, 90s Soup Doomsday, then all the replacements. Yeah, for sure. Thingiverse and Search Batman, Spider-Man, all kinds of cool stuff. So they already have the templates there. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Rick? Because yeah, that would certainly be fascinating. Aren't like 3D printers and stuff expensive too, or what does that typically look like? I don't know much about it. It's really just like kind of a newer thing to me. But for sure, if there's busts and whatnot, cool. So I'd like to look into that for sure some more. I did get like a giant printer so I can do like full size comic pages now. So that's a good thing, because like trying to stitch together the pages and stuff is annoying. And actually with the first bull, all I did was just use regular like comic book backing boards, like you put your comics in the bag and all that. So I was like, well, these dimensions are safe because it's the literal size of a comic book. So for the whole issue number one of the bull, all the original pages are just done on comic backing boards, which kind of worked in my favor because I did go in and I color penciled everything too. So I think moving forward, I'll have a different strategy, but you know, it was good to be able to work at a capacity I was comfortable with. I would definitely say with when number two comes out, I certainly want to add a level of polish. There's nothing wrong with using what you have, but I definitely don't want anyone to pick up the second one and say, "Oh, this looks worse than the first one," you know. So I want to make sure that it's something I can be proud of and you guys are glad to own. So, but it's hard too because I want to put the story in a place where I'm ready for him to like be like full-fledged with powers and everything, but it's like, I don't know. I think I'll end up maybe by the midpoint of issue 2 or something, give him his powers, like, because it is hard to realistically go where I want to go by continuing to drag out him just being a boy in an authentic movie costume suit, which if you all don't know, that is the concept. Is the dad Impulse buys the authentic movie suit from the Bull movie that him and his son watched when he was a little kid. And it gets to the house and he finds the suit before his dad does. He puts it on, and his dad is like grossly out of weight anyway. So there's there's no way the dad would fit it in the first place. So the kid puts it on. So he is by default the Bull at that point. And there's certain elements too. I'll just like, oh, the kid just like jacked his dad's, you know, expensive movie suit or whatever, but we'll deal with all that too. But I definitely want to get him already to the point where he has powers. But that was really like the newer part for me, because when I initially made the character, like when I was, I don't know, I was 4 when I made them, but when I made my first like issue with like lined notebook paper and stuff like that, I did that when I think I was probably 11 or something like that, 11 or 12. So when I had done that, I was heavily influenced by like the Street Sharks transforming sequence in those comics. I didn't see the cartoon at the time, but I have still the comics. I still have them. But there's a part in there where they show them like transforming. And so I was pretty much really inspired by that sequence, and bingo bango, I threw the bull his powers there, at least one facet of him. So he had that part happen in the first issue. Originally, all of the other stuff, basically, this story really came from a place of me kind of tapping into a bit of like family nods. Both my mom and dad are deceased, so this was kind of like really more of like a parent / kid, a family story more than, you know, heavy action and all that sort of a thing. So this was kind of like me writing from a place of memory and nostalgia and dealing with loss a little bit and passing the torch, and kind of a bit of that in a strange sort of way. But I wanted to have that down because that was something when I had originally made the character, they were all very much in the picture, but now like I'm a father of 3 myself, and you know, my parents are no longer with me. So that's really where the elements of the new first issue came from. Not just, okay, now he has powers, let's go fight crime. So I really wanted to make something that was more about that family piece. And I feel that like the family element does build it and make it stronger, but I'm ready to do the action part of it. And that's hard to do if he's just a kid, because he's going to get real hurt real fast if he were to deal with the stuff I want him to with no powers. So let me look back at the chat here. Darkseid figures I'd like to see new on the McFarlane. Yeah, I'd love to see some Darkseids too. I'm sure we will. I'm sure hopefully we'll see some Snyder Cut figures. You talked about Toy Fair, bigger, more plastic, but still in the $20 range. So I didn't hear him talking about like a Darkseid one. I know he did, what is it? It's called like is it called the Big 10 or Big 12? Or he did like their like movie, his like, I'm trying to remember the name of him now. Basically like all of his weird like creature robot characters, like the gorillas. Was it Cygor? Is that his name? I don't remember anymore. You guys know what I'm talking about though. And then there's one that's like part raptor and part robot, and then there's one that's like part shark and part robot. So I know Todd did those, and they're more of like a brighter, they're like a brighter plastics and stuff too, but they're fun because they're just like these giant monsters you can throw your smaller scale Spawn toy up against, but they're not really as detailed as far as like paint and articulation, but they're still just kind of cool to throw around with your figures. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. He wants to do that too with some DC stuff, so that would be interesting, but I'm unaware of that. No, he talked Darkseid. Oh, well, that would be cool. Yeah, for sure. I hope he does do that. I would love to see, you know, bigger, but same detail for sure. Same level, you know, not bright plastic and all that like those guys were. But so still fun though. Like, but yeah, I probably won't be getting those guys, but it's fun that he did offer that option. So, but I did get his, I ordered. I don't physically have it yet, but as a Spawn figure remaster. So hopefully, I think that's coming in December. So it'll be nice to get that. I like with it too is he's doing it in like packaging that you can seal and reseal, so you can actually take your toy out and pose it and then put it back in a box. Because that's kind of what I like to do with my stuff. Like I've got, I don't know if I showed when I actually put, so like with these guys here, I took them out of like their plastic stuff inside, but then I put some floral foam here to build a base. and then I just kind of pose them with their weapons and stuff, and you can still see the card. And so I've got him and the Batman on the other side, but I like to do this with my stuff. I also did it with way back when they did the Capullo line of Batman figures, which I don't have anymore. I had to sell those, unfortunately, but yeah, I like to be able to have that option. So I know like the value definitely is way down after that, but it at least you have some preservation of like a package to contain it in, but you can still pose your toy. So that's how I like to do it. And then I will be doing a video where I show off all of my Batman animated figures. Like that's going to be its own video. So, but with that, I posed one. Basically, I tried to get him on the box, and like his arm broke right off. So after that happened with that one, I was scared to even try to X-Acto any of the other figures out of a box or anything, especially with how much money I had invested in them. So, and yeah, so I'm not going to be taking the rest of them out of their boxes. So, but I will definitely show them all to you guys, as well as I think what I'll probably do is maybe show the figures with thoughts on my favorite episode per feature, per character I'm showing on the camera talking about, just to kind of add a little something to it. And it's fun too, because I'm actually going through the animated series right now with my oldest kid. I'm trying to go through a lot of things with him, going back once again to like the mortality piece of my own self. Like both my parents passed when they were 55. So it's like I'm at a point where I'm 34. So it's like in my head, it's like I could be here for 21 more years, but I don't know. It's hard to think about, but it's something that I do think about, unfortunately. So it's like I want to get as much as I can out of my kid as I can while I'm here. Yeah, you just never know, unfortunately. So I don't mean to be a down or anything, but so yeah, I'm trying to like catch him up on like Dragon Ball Z and Batman animated, and we're watching My Hero together. All the kids are on that one, and just different things. So it's fun just kind of sharing with them things that made a big impact on me, and they're enjoying them as well. So I'm kind of seeing them through his eyes as well, getting his reactions, which is pretty cool. So oh, what are you talking about? Let's see, Ryan. What are you talking about when you showed us that in your video? It blew my mind. What just now with the Joker figure? I don't even know. What did I say? What did I say 3 minutes ago? And then I'm trying to get like all of my main figures are kind of in storage right now. So like I have like the original Retro Turtles, which you've seen on my one original action figure haul video. So they are being unappreciated right now in a box. So I'd like to get them out in this office space and have them on the wall. There's a guy he's called, I think it's just Display Geek. He does his main shtick is like his shelves. They're pretty much how you like make like the comic boxes, the cardboard comic boxes, only instead of boxes, they're like shelving units, and they're like a thicker cardboard, but they look like polished enough that it just looks like, a flat toned black shelf or white shelf or whatever. And I think they fit at least 4 pops in a row on them, but they have different sizes for different things. So you could technically even put like some of your smaller figures and things like that in there. And, the original Turtles figures are, fairly smaller figures. So if you don't have any packaging, obviously you could just kind of put them as knickknacks in there. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. And then just kind of make shelves too for, I've been rotating out my pops as well. Basically, like it is funny because my daughter brought this to light to me the other day. She's like, are you aware like every room in the house have pops in it? I was like, well, let me look. I was like, there's not any in the kitchen, but like I realized like because like I like to give my kids some of them too. So it's like my girl has a few of them in her room. My middle son, he has a lot of them. Basically, the ones that wouldn't fit in my bedroom initially, he has in there. Even there are some in the living room, not like really on display, but technically there are some in there. So it's like, oh yeah, the only place that doesn't have them in there is the is the dining room. So it's just weird. And yeah, of course, even our bedroom does now. But I want to get some of those shelves. So my wife, she's got a lot of the really cool, rarer ones that at the time when they came out, we weren't collecting them at the time. So unfortunately, I paid heftier price tags for them, but I got her some really cool ones that I will be showing off in that video as well. Are you talking about the what I had done with the Joker there, Ryan? Yeah, I like the fact that I can pose it in box and stuff and show it off with the weapons and stuff. And even when I had the Capullo ones as well, those ones they weren't quite as there wasn't quite as much as a disparity between like the labeling and stuff. Oh, cool. So I got it straightened out. So with those, they were just there was no floral foam in there. It was just them placed in there and posed and stuff. So I got some like really dynamic looks out of those. And unfortunately, it was a time we had to pay some bills. So I let them go for pretty much like what I paid for them, if not a little bit under. So, but yeah, I like to, if I'm able to, get them where I can reseal them back in there and kind of pose them. So that way it looks, like there's enough of a effort made to keep it as like a collectible piece, but it's like, dude, I really just want to play with my toys and at the same time look somewhat sophisticated when I display them. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's hard to spend hundreds of dollars in toys and like, just throw out boxes and stuff, especially when you have people besides you in the financial picture where it's like, you got to think about those things. So it's like, okay, well, if I keep the box, then I could, resell it if I need to, which unfortunately I did for the Capullo stuff. So, but if you just pull everything out of the boxes and don't keep packaging and stuff like that, then it's like, oh, well, that was just like, you spent this high amount of money on this and now we can't even get, a low amount of money for it. So, and then that's really hard for me too. Like I definitely want to pare down my comics as well, but it's hard for me to like portion things out enough where it's not like, oh, I really just, after you've added in shipping, it's like I've really just made, $15 off a huge comic lot that I spent hours in cataloging and listing and all that type of stuff, and then going down to the post office. So it's like, how much am I willing to invest in reselling these, or do I just want to, cheaply get rid of them locally, All right, Ryan. Well, it's been a pleasure, buddy. I'm glad you stopped by. This guy watches a ton of my videos, and I'm super supportive and glad that he is a viewer. And yeah, I'm always encouraged anytime I see him in the comments. So I'm glad he got to make a live stream here for sure. So. Well, we're nearing the top of the hour. Does anyone else have any questions before we close it down here at 8 o'clock? I know I was a couple minutes late. I had issues with the Wi-Fi connecting and stuff. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else before we pop off here, because I'll take a question or two before I go. And if not, of course, I'll see you guys Saturday. There'll be a haul video. I don't know if there'll be things. Well, yeah, there are a few items for sure. There's actually a Grail item on Saturday's one, something I never thought I'd ever get. This is kind of like very close to the peak for me, and I actually didn't spend a lot on it, but it's something like I was eyeing for a long, long time that I finally got. So. Hi, Def Shot. Well, we're about to take off, buddy. Do you have a question for me before we go here? This will re-air. It saves on my thing. I don't know how long it takes to render it or whatever. I wish you'd come a little earlier. Whenever I do these streams, I usually do them at least once a month, and it's usually from 7 to 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock my time now. So if you want to make the next one, Tune in an hour earlier. I might do some more this month, but I want to at least get the one a month because I feel like that kind of gives everyone a chance to breathe. And even it's hard to pull out things which is literally like Q&A. And so it's hard to always have questions not answered and stuff if you're seeing me more often than not. So I feel a month is kind of a good period of like one time a month where I can interact with you all in a casual way that's not putting you to sleep. So Keem, yeah, thank you so much for stopping by as well. Deathshot, did you have anything before we go? If not, we'll hop off here in a minute here. So, but yeah, so there'll be a big haul video. Well, not a big haul video, but there'll be a haul video Saturday with the Grail items. So I'm excited to show that off for sure. All right. All right. Well, 8:02. We're out of here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this out. Help me grow the channel. Signed book giveaway 2,000. Signed bundle comic giveaway when we hit 5,000. Help me make it happen. You all have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.